warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
ready to the town.
In Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, instead of giving knowledge to our students, we are planting seeds of knowledge that will rooted strongly and grow for the usefulness of others. Faculty of Economics was established under Universitas Sakyakirti on 31st October 1953. Before the inauguration of Universitas Sriwijaya on 17 September 1960, the faculty was handed over to Universitas Sriwijaya, which then the forerunner of the faculty, and officially it is established on 3rd of November 1960. Welcome to Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya. Campus of Indralaya is located on Jalan Raya Palembang Prabu Mulih, which is about 45 minutes from Palembang campus. This campus is mainly for the Center of Undergraduate Degree. Campus of Palembang is located in the center of Palembang city and mainly for undergraduate and postgraduate degree. Both Palembang and Indralaya campus Faculty of Economics have strategic locations. For Palembang campus, Faculty of Economics is located near the main gate and Magister Management. And for the Indralaya campus, the campus is located near library, bus station, rectorate building, and the university mosque. Other facilities available for the students such as student center, library, student dorms, sport facilities, gardens, canteen, and auditorium which can be used for students' activities. Besides studying formally inside the class, Faculty of Economics also provides students with many activities to develop their skills which will be useful for their future.
Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, has the vision to become a leading faculty of economics in the Asian region in the second decade of the 21st century. We are committed to educating and producing the best graduates who have integrity, the skills to adapt technological development, providing services to community. Faculty of Economics Universitas Sriwijaya, a campus that proactive, visionary, productive, synergy, and competence.
Region 2, Professor Yuliansyah SA, MSA, PhD, AKCA, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, Professor Dr. Muhammad Adam, SA, MA, the Honorable our speakers on panel session, General Director of Budgeting, Indonesian Ministry of Finance, Mr. Askolani, SA.MA, Professor Dr. Diah Natalisa, MBA, Professor Chong Lioli, PhD, Professor Dr. SC Marijan Singula, Professor Jonathan M. Williams, PhD, also all speakers and participants. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Bunga Yuza as Master of Ceremony today. Welcome to Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference 2020. Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference is an international conference held annually by Economics Faculty of Universitas Sriwijaya, which aims to improve the quality of research from lecturers and practitioners in the economic and social field, in order to increase competitiveness in facing global challenges. The theme of Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference is FUCA 2.0, How to Survive the Unsteady World. Ladies and gentlemen, to commence this panel session, we kindly invite you to listening Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. following agenda, we would please to hear the chairman of committee to deliver a report of the event. To Mr. Agung Putra Radio SEABC, the time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. I want to introduce myself. My name is Agung Putra Ranyo, as a chairman of 6th Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference. I am very pleased to welcoming you in our annual event, SEABC. SEABC is an international conference held annually by the Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, which aims to improve the quality of research from lecturers and practitioners in the economic and social fields in order to increase competitiveness in facing global challenges. SEABC was first conducted in 2015. Nothing is static in business. All aspects change rapidly. Not long ago, we became acquainted with the term Industrial Revolution 4.0. This has led to the widespread of startups with various types of businesses. Therefore, the Industrial Revolution 4.0 also resonates. The Industrial Revolution 4.0, with the increasingly dominant use of technology, is making changes in terms of workforce. Many types of activities have been replaced by digital systems. As the consequences, the term of Society 5.0 appears, a concept to prevent the negative effects of being replaced by digital systems. Thus, the process of adaptation and innovation is the key for a business to survive and keep moving forward. In the current pandemic era, all of us are required to have a good vision, understanding, courage, and adaptability to be able to survive and develop. For this reason, FUCA 2.0 is the theme of the 6th Annual International Seminar and Conference of the Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya. SEABC is currently entering its 6th year with the theme FUCA 2.0, How to Survive the Unsteady World, with a total of 155 participants from 10 countries, consists of Iraq, Philippines, Pakistan, Iran, Vietnam, South Korea, India, Oman, Malaysia, and also Indonesia. It is hoped that the results of the research that we presented in the SEABC 2020 can be used as input for academics, students, government, and business actors in responding to challenges in the current COVID-19 pandemic era. The last one, please enjoy this conference, and hopefully it will bring a new experience and knowledge to us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Agung, for the speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite Vice Rector for Finance of Universitas Sriwijaya, Professor Dr. Taufik S.A. MSc, to deliver his opening speech and officially open the event. To Professor Dr. Taufik S.A. MSc, the stage is yours.
Thank you for MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable speakers, Prof. Lia, Prof. Chong, Pak Askolani, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Universitas Sriwijaya. It is a great honor for me to be addressing you today. At this 6th Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the host of this conference, Faculty of Economy. SEABC is entering its 6th year, and due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we cannot meet physically for the conference this year, something that we never imagined before. Ladies and gentlemen, I also would like to show my gratitude to all the sponsors and committee that without those, I believe this conference would not be happening. I am grateful that many academicians and experts have come to participate in this conference to share their knowledge for the next 2 days. I hope that we can gain something for the betterment of our country. I am sure you will have gainful and rewarding exchange in the next few days. I wish you every success with this important conference, and I look forward to learning about the outcome. Finally, I would like to announce that 6th SEABC Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference is officially commenced. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Taufik, for the opening speech. Well, all blessed participants, let us reciting prayer that will conduct by Haji Abdullah Sagaf, SAMSE. To Haji Abdullah Sagaf, SAMSE, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable speakers, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our conference today, let us bow our head for a moment, pray to God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that our conference can be precious to us. I will lead this prayer based on the teaching of Islam, and those who are not Muslims, you are pleased to pray according to each of your beliefs. For the beginnings of the prayer, let's begin to read Surah Al-Fatiha. Ila Hadrat Nabi Mustafa Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ila arwahi wa azwajihi wa zurriyati wa ahlil baiti kiramil Fatiha. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan yuwafi namahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamd kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma antas salam wa minkas salam wa ilaika ya'udus salam. Ahayna Rabbana bis salam wa adkhilna al-jannata darus salam. Tabarakta Rabbana wa ta'alita ya dzal jalali wal ikram. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'an wa amalan solihan wa rizqan halalan thayyiban. Allahumma jamilna bil afiyati was salama wa haqiqna bit taqwa wal istiqamah wa aizna min mujibatin nadamah innaka sami'ud du'a. Allahumma arinal haqqa haqqa warzuqna tiba'ah wa arinal batila batila warzuqna ijtinabah. Allahumma ya Rahman ya Rahim. Today, Wednesday, November 18, 2020, we gather here to bring about Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting and Business Conference. Therefore, Ya Allah, make conference as useful science, as a medium sharing useful ideas, knowledge and experience of scholars. May the conference we organize today benefit to our lives, broaden our knowledge, shine our ideas, and lead us to be successfully productive person, which in turn will boast dignity to our nation. Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, guide and bless us our heart, our minds with the light of your guidance. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities. Help us to speak our minds clearly. Help us to listen to each other, respect to each other, love each other, so that we are included to the blessed person. Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Malik, Ya Kudus, you are the one who can fulfill our dua. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin nabiyil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, move to our next agenda. We would like to invite our moderator to lead the panel session, Dr. Isan Hajri, MM, CHRM. But before that, let me read the curriculum vitae of our moderator today. Dr. M. Isan Hajri, MM, CHRM was born in Palembang, 11th of July, 1989. He is a lecturer of Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya. In 2015, he graduated from Universitas Sriwijaya on Master of Management concentrating in Human Resource Management. In 2016, he graduated from Universitas Sriwijaya on Economic Specialty in Human Resource Management. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. M. Isan Hajri, MM, CHRM has a lot of achievements. Some of them are the first winner Best Paper and Excellence in Research of Asia Pacific Consortium of Researchers and Educators Convention and International Conference in Guam, USA in 2018. The first winner Best Paper of International Conference of Organizational Innovation in University of Ulsan, South Korea, 2019. And also the first best participant at the National Financing Analysis Program in collaboration with Bank Indonesia and LPPI Jakarta in 2013. And here is our moderator today. Please welcome Dr. M. Isan Hajri, MM, CHRM.
Thank you for the MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Head of LLDT Regional 2, Professor Liliansa, SEMSA PhD AK, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Sriwijaya, represented by the Vice Rector for General Affairs, Human Resources, and Finance, Professor Dr. Taufik, SEMSE, our Honorable Speakers, Mr. Askolani, SEMA, Professor Dr. Diah Natalisa, MBA, Professor Chong Lioli, PhD, Professor Dr. Esti Marijan Chingula, Professor Jonathan M. William, PhD, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economic, University Sriwijaya, Professor Dr. Muhammad Adam, the Honorable Vice Deans of Faculty of Economics, University Sriwijaya, the Honorable Chairman of 6 SEABC 2020, Mr. Agung Putra Raneo, the Honorable Head of Department, Secretary of Department, and Head of Study Program in Faculty of Economics, University Sriwijaya, the Honorable Committee of 6 SEABC 2020, the Honorable Host and MC of our event, and our warm welcome to all lecturer, faculty member, and all participants. First of all, we'd like to thank you for gathering here in this platform and welcome to the 6th Sriwijaya Economic Accounting and Business Conference 2020 with the topic FUCA 2.0, How to Survive the Unsteady World. We hope with attending this scientific international conference will be a good opportunity to learning and sharing about FUCA 2.0, How to Survive the Unsteady World. It is a very good experience and opportunity for all the participants. For the participants who want to ask a question, can write in the chat room or raise hand in the Zoom platform. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 honorable speakers for this session. I will read short bio for our first speaker, Mr. Askolani, SEMA. Mr. Askolani, SEMA, he was born in Palembang, June 11, 1966. Currently, he serves as Director General of Budget, Ministry of Finance of Indonesia. His education background, bachelor degree in Economics and Development Sciences, Universitas Sriwijaya, Palembang, and he continued his study Master of Arts of Economics in University of Colorado at Denver, USA. His training experience that he had taken, interest rate market and risk management, outside, introduction to financial market in Indonesia, Indonesian fiscal sustainability and its implication on monetary, balance on payment, the Oxford High Performance Leadership Program, developing cluster and national competitiveness, health sector reform and sustainable financing, courses on public finance, and much. So many training that he ever take. Okay, for our second speaker, Professor Dr. Diah Natalisa, MBA. She was born in November 15, 1963. Her education, bachelor degree in management, University of Sriwijaya, Palembang, Indonesia. She continued her study, master degree in management, University of Kentucky, Lexington, USA, and her doctoral degree in economy, University of Airlangga, Surabaya, Indonesia. And she was a professor in management science, economy faculty of the University of Sriwijaya, Palembang, Indonesia. Her job experience in she was the head of study program Master of Management, University of Sriwijaya, and she was a coordinator of National Private University Region 2, and now she is the Deputy Minister of Public Service, Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform of the Republic of Indonesia. Her training experience, English as a second language, University of Kentucky, Lexington, USA, the German language course, Goethe Institute, Indonesia, with government course, SIDA, Gothenburg, Sweden, lead auditor course, and environmental management system, TQS International, Selangor, Kuala Lumpur. And her conference and workshop experience, Asian ROK Ministerial Roundtable Meeting and Exhibition on Public Service Innovation, Busan, Korea, National Contact Point Meeting of the Observatory of Public Service Innovation, Paris, keynote speakers in Indonesia Focus Conference in USA, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals through effectively delivery of service, innovative transformation, and accountability institution, Azerbaijan, and many more. I will read the short bio of our third speaker. Our third speaker is Professor Chong Leo Lee, PhD. He was born October 9, 1959. 59. He was the Dean and Professor, College Business and Economic, Korea University at Sejong Campus, Sejong City, Korea. His major field in econometrics, macroeconomics, economy of Southeast Asia. His education, BA in Economics, Korea University, Korea, and PhD in Economics, The Ohio State University, USA. His work experience, he was a visiting research fellow, Korea Institute of Finance, the research fellow, Korea Institute of Finance, associate professor, vice president, Korean Association of Southeast Asian Studies, the president of Korea Payment and Settlement Association, and he was the dean of College of Business and Economics. Our fourth speaker, I will read the short bio of Professor Dr. Marijan Chingula, the tenured professor, former head of Department of Organization and Management, University of Zagreb, Faculty of Economic and Business, Zagreb, Croatia. He earned his doctoral degree on University of Zagreb, Faculty of Organization and Informatics, Varaždin. He worked as Managing Director, Varaždin OTC Market Inc. Varaždin and Vadia Inc. Development and Entrepreneurship Agency, Varaždin. Co-author of several books of entrepreneurship, general management, and corporate governance. Served as member of scientific board to more than 50 international scientific conference. And I will read short bio of our last speaker, fifth speaker. Our fifth speaker is Professor Jonathan M. William, PhD. He was born in July 7, 1964. His appointment, professor in banking and finance, Bangor Business School, Bangor University, and his previous position, head of Bangor Business School, Bangor University, director of Bangor Business School, London Center, senior lecturer in banking and finance, lecturer in banking and finance, Institute of European Finance, Bangor University, European Accounting Research Center, and ICC Information Group, London Financial Analysis. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, The discussion forum will be open at the end of the presentation of all speakers. For participants who want to ask question, participant can write into Q&A feature in the chat room or can ask directly by raise hand feature in the Zoom platform. Okay, to shorten the time, we beg the willingness for our first speaker, Mr. Askolani, SAMA. You have 30 minutes to deliver the material and public lecture. To Mr. Askolani, SAMA, the time is yours.
Thank you, Mas Isan. Honorable Vice Rector, Professor Taufik, Honorable Speaker, and all the participants of the Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting, and Business Conference in 2020. It's nice can be attend this conference to present some part of the Indonesian current policy in 2020 and also for the planning in 2021. At least my presentation I divide in three parts. This is first about the global economic challenges and updates. And the second about Indonesia fiscal policy response to pandemic COVID-19. It's very current issue. And the third one about Indonesia economic prospect and fiscal policy in 2021. The first one, when we look at before the COVID-19, the source of the global recession was predicted from economic political issue that were full of challenges in regions, like from the global financial crisis, the crisis, and also geopolitical issues, U.S. normalization, trade war, and domestic tension. But after that, since we faced in the beginning of the 2020, since the pandemic COVID come from China and came to Indonesia around March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic have impact. It's very significant for the not only global, but also in Indonesia case. It's effect to the health that's come from the first one, impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and its effect to the social sector and also the economic factor, and also the last one to the finance sector. When we look at from the global effect of these things, the impact of the COVID-19 had the impact to the reduce of the global growth. That's most of the countries have negative impact growth in 2020. And the second one, when we look at the impact of the COVID-19, is it has increase of the unemployment and also poverty rate. I think that's all this have not only impact on the global, but also most of the countries have the same impact. And source of economic pressure might become increasingly unpredictable, making sustainable economic development even more crucial for the next about the climate change, about technology disruption, and more epidemics that is it possible to come. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge factor in 2020. If you look until November 16th, the total cumulative case of the COVID-19 is around 54 millions. And in Indonesia case, until now, that have impact to the around 470,000 individual that get impact from the COVID-19. And now escalating in now is that it update COVID-19 impacts that's achieved 216 countries. Epicenter shift to large populated countries like US, India, and Brazil. And new wave occurred in Europe and the US, increasing active case significant. A new normal is widely implemented, but case rising again. Vaccines are being developed rapidly, but will still take time. The risk is still high because of the many uncertainty of this impact of the COVID-19. Pandemic movement pattern of variants, if we look from the global perspective, become a sign of higher uncertainty in the future. Every country has different direction of the curve. The first wave, when we look at like in Argentina, Indonesia, and other countries have faced this first wave. But after that, second waves are happening in the most Europe countries like UK, Germany, France, and Netherlands. So that's why that's very risky for the most country in the world for the second wave. But the social restriction gas break policy continue to be enforced. Some countries have even experienced in the third wave, like in the US, Iran, and Israel. So our question is, what is next for the most of the country in the world? Pandemic creates global investor uncertainty. If you look at financial market volatility and investor uncertainty increase at the start of the pandemic, it has had a negative impact on global financial market, including decline in the value of share. Developing countries, including Indonesia, has recorded capital outflow due to the negative sentiment of COVID-19. This pressure has now subsidized, supported by measures to deal with the pandemic and massive global stimulus. If we look at the volatility index, the level of volatility due to COVID-19 is even higher than previous crises, such as the 2008 global financial crisis, we compare with the current situation. So it also have impact to the global stock index. Global trade is one of the several impacted sectors due to pandemic. Global trade in recent years has been hampered by issues of trade wars and protectionism. The pandemic is exacerbating disruption of global trade. The IMF estimate that the volume of world trade in 2020 will experience negative growth as deep as the global financial crisis period in 2009. But we hope that in 2021 will be recovered to be positive around 8.3%. The decline in global demand caused commodity prices, especially crude of oil, to fall, although the gradually recover that still happen until now. Global economic growth projection by various institutions starting convergent. If you look at it like from the IMF estimation, OECD estimation, and also World Bank, most of these institutional that predict the growth in 2020 will be negative. That's around 4% until 5% negative in 2020. But recovery will be, hope will be happen in 2021. In the global growth will be around 4 until 5 based on this institutional projection. This is, I think, a good signal when we look at the current situation, like in England, in UK. They are following from the China because in the third quarter in 2020, the growth is tend to positive. But when we look at in Indonesia case, until third quarter, we predict that, not we predict, but the realization of the Indonesian growth is still negative, but it's tend to low until third quarter. And we hope that we can improve in the fourth quarter. Global manufacturing performance continue to show improvement in many countries. We compare the global PMI manufacture in the whole countries, that's around 53. That's 10 to positive. We compare the apparel situation. When we look at in USA, Europe, China, and also India, the PMI index already above of the positive level. Indonesia case and also Japan, Thailand, and Philippines, also Malaysia, that our detect that still lower than 50. I think that's the challenges for the most of these countries. Before COVID-19, Indonesian economic growth is strong momentum. And we look at this at least in the last 5 years, our Indonesia growth is slightly above the 5%. Poverty rate is tend to decline for the medium term to be single digit. And Gini ratio also, same thing like unemployment rate. If we look how is the Indonesian government strategy for development, in infrastructure development, there are a lot of infrastructure output that can be achieved by Indonesian government. Investment climate is quite good because a significant improvement in ease of doing business, and also one-stop services for investment, and also tax amnesty and tax holiday incentive for the economic sector. Structural reform also do it by the governments, by policy packages, and also e-governments, and also budget and tax reform. This is already happened at least until 2019, but when the COVID coming, I think is the challenges for Indonesia and also for the global economy. Indonesia economic growth in third quarter 2020 become a turning point after high pressure in second quarter. If you look, the second quarter is the lower economic growth of Indonesia to be just 5.3 minus. And in third quarter, it's going to improve to be less negative, to be around 3.4. And we hope in the fourth quarter, based on the government intervention, is will going to the around zero or close to the zero. How the improvement, I think, when we look at this, the performance of the economic growth in Indonesia in 2020, that's also improvement in the household consumption. Compare third quarter with the second quarter. Government consumption is improved very significant. From negative growth in second quarter to be positive almost 10% in third quarter. Investment also quite have improvement, but still negative. And the same thing like export from and also in import. When we look at the household consumption in Indonesia, the pattern is also have improvement when we compare third quarter with the second quarter. Real sales index tend to increase, and household consumption component growth performance in 2020 from the food, beverage, housing, clothes, and also transportation and communication, even in restaurant and hotel, and also have a improvement in the same pattern in the third quarter compared the second one. Almost all sectors are experiencing increased growth. Steps to restore the business world need to be encouraged. The main contributor and affected sector of the pandemic have been able to record significant improvement and show a reversal of direction. When we look at it from the manufacturing industry, wholesale, and also transportation, storage, agriculture, construction, and also in the accommodation and food, beverage. But some sector that continue to grow higher amidst the pandemic, like from the information and communication and also health sector. But a weaker sector compared to the Q2 that still happen for the mining and quarrying, and also financial and insurance activity. That's I think when we look at the analysis from the real sector. Indonesia economic growth projection in line with the world economy. In 2020, the governments predict that Indonesian growth is around minus 0.7 until minus 0.6% of GDP. That's meaning still have a contraction in 2020. This is the same prediction from the other international institutions like from IMF, Bloomberg, World Bank, OECD, and also ADB that predict that Indonesia growth in 2020 will be minus. But after this, I think with some recovery and also government's effort to improve the recovery in economic and also how to against the pandemic COVID-19, in 2021, we hope that our Indonesian economic growth will have a positive to be around 5%. This is a projection. I think it's also close with the international institution prediction, like from IMF, even from the World Bank, OECD, and also ADB for 2021 growth. It's continue to the second topic about the fiscal policy response to the pandemic COVID-19. Global COVID-19 management step directed in three aspects: health management, economic saving, and also financial sector stability. In health, I think we are doing in testing, tracing, and treatment, procurement of medical devices, isolation facility, and also facility vaccine development, health insurance, and also incentive for health workers. In the economy, I think the government will give a tax incentive, direct cut system, and also some subsidy, include wage subsidy, and support for the micro, small, and medium enterprise, and also various social security supporting for unemployment, and also decrease on interest rate. In the financial sector stability, credit structure will be proposed by the government, credit warrant, and also strengthening supervision and coordination between institutions. In this effort to against the pandemic COVID, also recovery economy, I think the governments will join together with the central banks and also OJK to make some effort to give some incentive and also support how to boost economy in recovery economy in 2020 and also the next 2021. Indonesian stimulus related with the pandemic COVID-19, I think is quite moderate. If we compare with the other countries, there are some countries they are imposed the fiscal stimulus by more expansion in the global on the fiscal, like in Germany. In German, I think they can impose the deficit incentive around 24% of GDP. Also, like Japan and also other countries, Europe countries, they are very very higher to improve the budget support to against the pandemic COVID. In Indonesia case, the number of the fiscal incentive, fiscal support to against the pandemics, that's around 4% of GDP. I think it's quite moderate. There are some countries higher than Indonesia, but some countries is lower than case on Indonesia to support recovery economy and also to against the pandemic COVID-19 in 2020. At least I think the pattern of all the countries, they are the same. The first one, they are trying to recover and also to gains of the case in health sector in the pandemic COVID. And the second one, all the countries also give a social security incentive, because you know that most of the people have the impact because of the restriction of the activity, even the economy and also social activity. And the third one, the pattern of all the countries, they are trying to recover the economy and also social sector that also have get the impact from the COVID-19. So this pattern also implement in Indonesia, how the fiscal policy also via collaboration with the central bank and also with the OJK to improve and also to recover economy in 2020. Fiscal policy moved quickly to respond pandemic and make adjustment to protect the economy. In Indonesia case, the government issue government regulation number 1, 2020. This is an extraordinary effort to recover economic program in 2020. At least Indonesian of governments propose economic recovery programs that from the state budget around 4.2% of GDP to against the COVID-19, also the impact to the economy, social, and also financial sector. Adjustment of the budget we are doing by the governments, and we are planning this government's intervention to recover economy not only in 2020, but also will be continued for the medium term until 2020. So we know that's how to against this pandemic COVID is not for the short-term policy, but also it needs a sustainable and also consistent policy to adopt that. Indonesia budget development in 2020, if you look in the previous one, it's just 1.76% of GDP. But because of the government effort to against the pandemic COVID, also recover economy, the deficit of the fiscal policy, it's increased significant to be 6.3% of GDP. That's, I think, increased triple from the existing just 1.776. Lower revenue due to deceleration of the economic activity and tax incentive to support economy. I think that's the case in 2020. Increasing of on expenditure in according to the fiscal stimulus to support health program, social security program, and also economic recovery. And so that's why the government increased the budget deficit to be triple from 1.76% GDP to be 6.3. I think this is the first one since the crisis in 1998. The government of Indonesia have the stand of the intervention of the fiscal policy to be quite significant like this year. Financing strategy will be prudent and supporting economic recovery. And from the financing strategy, that one, I think government also collaboration with the central bank to implement that. Comprehensive policy of program economic recovery in Indonesia, that's have the budget around 4.2% of GDP. That's come from health. The first one, health intervention is quite significant in this year, and the second one is about to support the social safety net, because most of the people have the significant impact of the restriction on the economy and activity, and also to the micro and small medium enterprise, also support by the governments, even to the corporate financing, and then also business incentive. That's all this very comprehensive and very detailed effort and program implemented by the governments. In 2020, I think the government still continue to support the social assistance expenditure, and also to the education and health. That's very the main of the priority of the government's development in 2020. And also the government still continue support through the transfer to the region. This is one part of the also government's policy in fiscal, how to make a broader of the intervention to the region. That's as the government stands. A state budget is the main instrument to immediate respond the impact of pandemic, supporting recovery and keeping forward reform. In this case, I think Indonesia effort, extraordinary policy, that's also imposed by the government. Reopening policy, we also implement this. And then the next one is recovery and reform policy. This combination of this policy between extraordinary, reopening, and also recovery and reform policy, this is, I think, the main effort that we will do by the government in 2020 and also for the next 2021 and maybe for the until medium term in 2022. If we look at the types of economic recovery, there are some pattern like shape recovery, Z-shape recovery, V-shape or U-shape or next word, or L-shape or W-shape. This is, I think, this is the evaluation that will be done by the government, how to government's support to affecting the economic recovery from the household ability and willingness to spend, state and local government finances, and also business bankruptcy and lower investment and less human capital. I think these types of recovery economics that will be also influence the economy of Indonesia in 20 or 2021. Economic outlook 2021 rebound but prudent as it is risky. Inflation is predicted to stable in 2021. Commodity price is on upward trend, but we still also take care about this because most of the economic Indonesia is very depends on the commodity fluctuation of the price. Global economic policy is predicted to be accommodated in 2021. Financial market gradually recovering. We hope this because this is based on the government support effort in 2020 and will be continued in 2021. And international trade would be depends on the pandemic situation. All this, I think, influence the condition in 2021. Risk of impending shocks like second wave, vaccine, global uncertainty is very also the main factor that will be influence on the 2021 situation. So that's why the government also take care for this. COVID-19 has impact of Indonesia growth in 2021 and is predicted to recover in 2021. We hope that in 2021, recovery will be shown in from third quarter 2020 and will be acceleration in 2021 by economic optimism globally and domestically. The availability of the vaccine is expected to control the pandemic, and the last one is about government effort to continue economic recovery and conduct structural reform. The risk that still could be happen in 2021. The first one is about pandemic is still escalating with a long duration. More time needed is to ensure the vaccine availability, and global uncertainty also could be happen in 2021. So that's why I think the government plan should be not taken in 2021 effort, but also will be continue in 2021 and also could be to medium term until 2022. Excuse me. Macroeconomic assumption in development target for 2021 already approved by the parliaments. We hope that economic growth in 2021 to be around 5%. Based on this, with the stability in inflation and also exchange rate, and the interest rate, we hope that unemployment rate will be declined around to be 7.7 until 0.9. Poverty rate and Gini ratio also decline. The same like Human Development Index that we optimist could be recovered in 2021. Budget fiscal stance in 2021, we are get approval from the parliament to be 5%, 5.7% of GDP. It's slightly lower with compared with the deficit in 2020 around 6.3. The main message from the government in 2021 fiscal policy that the government will still continue to intervene and also to recover and also to gauge the pandemic COVID in 2021. But maybe some strategy will be changed, like in health sector. In 2021, focus on the vaccine issue. Since the end of 2022, the government will be try to buy and also propose for the vaccine. And we hope in the first quarter in 2021 will be implemented in Indonesia to support most of the people that against the pandemic COVID-19. 2021 budget strategy policy, I think, related with the recovery and economic transformation toward Indonesia Maju. This is the first one about the health sector. Accelerating health recovery due to COVID-19, and also there are some reform on the health will be continue in 2021. Education, I think, also the other case that will be also improved for not only for the short term but also for the long term targeted of the Indonesian governments. Social protection will continue and also reform will be also the main activity that we can do it in 2021. And the other one that I think the new one policy from the government is food security. Food security based on the government review, that's very important. Indonesia with a high, quite a lot of population, food security is very important. And the second one, I think that will be also the new program from the government is ICT. ICT, I think the basic for the implement 4.0. The ICT is the key to improve the productivity of population of Indonesian people. And the source of the economy, Indonesian economic also will be a boost, especially from the tourist sector. I think most of the activity that have challenges in 2020 will be boost in 2021 to be, we hope that can be improvement in the tourist activity. And the last one, and not the least, I think infrastructure as the key development since the last 5 years will be continue in 2021 because Indonesia still have lack of the infrastructure activity, infrastructure services, and also this is very important to make a higher economic growth for the medium and medium term. From the infrastructure, we hope that we can also filling the gap that still happen in Indonesia in the current year. And also, I think we can also with this targeted, we can reduce the poverty and also unemployment rate for the medium and the long term. Like I said before, health, the first one, I think priority in 2021 program will be imposed by the governments. The second I said is about the human resources through the education. And the third one about from the ICT development, that's very massive. They will be proposed in 2021 from the government and will be happen until medium term. Social protection after 2020 will be selected, and government will still support for the especially vulnerable people to get social protection from the governments. And food security will be improved for the new program since 2021, and infrastructure will be improved also, like tourism. And based on this, I think sustainability of structural reform is expected to accelerate economic recovery for the short term and also for the medium term and long term. Prior to COVID-19, Indonesia had the potential to accelerate economic growth, supported by a commitment to sustainable structural reform. The COVID-19 pandemic has left the growth outlook out of its natural paths. In the short term, the National Economic Recovery Program is expected to cushion the growth construction. And in the medium and long term, structural reforms, including we have a new law on Cipta Kerja, are increasingly important to accelerate sustainable recovery with improvement in supply, both increase investment, productivity, and job creation. And we have a vision that in 2045, the Indonesia will be the one developed countries in the world. I think that's an Indonesian vision that will be very important to make a foundation since this year. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Mr. Askalani SAMA for presentation, for deliver the material and public lecture, the data, facts, and information that is very important and very useful for all of us. Thank you so much. For the next speaker, we beg the willingness of our second speaker, Professor Dr. Diah Natalisa, MBA. You have 30 minutes to deliver the material and public lecture. Professor Dr. Diah Natalisa, MBA, the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ihsan Haji, as the moderator for the kind introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Head of LLBT Regional 2, Professor Yuliansa SA, MSR PhD AK, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Sriwijaya, represented by the Vice Rector for General Affairs, Human Resources and Finance, Professor Dr. Taufik Marwa, SAMSE, our honorable speakers, Mr. Askolani SA, LMR, Prof. Chong Ri, PhD, Professor Dr. Madijan Singgula, Professor Jonathan M. Williams, PhD, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, Professor Dr. Muhammad Adam MA, Honorable Vice Deans of Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, Honorable Chairman of the SIG SEABC 2020, Mr. Abu Putra Ranyo SAMSE, Honorable Head of Department, Secretary of Department, and Head of Study Program in the Faculty of Economics, Universitas Sriwijaya, and a warm welcome to all lecturers, faculty members, and all participants. Let us be grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Almighty God, for all the abundance of His gift to us all, so that we still have the opportunity to meet you in the Sriwijaya Economics, Accounting, and Business Conference. I greatly appreciate the initiative of the committee to hold this international forum, so we all can have a discussion from various perspectives in terms of how to survive unsteady words in this opportunity. I will talk about VUCA, FUCA, from Indonesian public service perspective. Before we start, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet you all with a short poem. Going to the market, buy some supplement. Get into taxi, don't forget to use the safety belt. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully, we always stay in a good health. In recent years, the challenges faced by the public sector have become increasingly intense and complex. Demands for better public services are growing rapidly. Those challenges are caused, among others, by globalization, bureaucratic reform, and the rapid development of technology. Now, the condition is increasingly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The complexity and uncertainty that occurs today when using the terms from defense and intellectual and intelligence is called FUCA. FUCA, it stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The term FUCA was originally coined by the American military to describe the geopolitical situation brought about by world war. However, this term is very relevant to the current world conditions where all countries and aspects of life are faced with uncertainty, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, first one is volatility. It can be interpreted as an unstable environment with very rapid changes and occurs on a large scale. Uncertainty, it can be interpreted as conditions that are uncertain, where people will find it difficult to predict an accuracy that will occur in the future. Three, complexity. It used to describe a situation that is increasingly complicated because the challenges that are present and other manifestations of many factors that are interrelated with one another. And ambiguity, this means that there is no clarity of the origin of an event and the chain of its consequences. In terms of technological development, currently the world is entering the era of 4.0 industrial revolution. It emphasizes the digital economy, artificial intelligence, big data, robotics, and so on. It's known as the phenomenon of disruptive innovation. On the other hand, the large population as well as the very vast territory of Indonesia, with its very geographic condition, are other challenges that must be faced in the delivery of public services. Communities demand an increasing in quality services, but government resources are often limited. From the internal side, the obstacles that need to be investigated are the mindset and work culture of government officials who want to maintain the status quo and do not want to change. At the beginning of year 2020, the coronavirus attacked people in various parts of the world. The coronavirus pandemic is estimated to be the worst crisis in the world since World War II and will have a major impact on the health system and destroy the global economy and society. Ladies and gentlemen, Law of 25 of 2009 concerning public services was established to provide a legal basis for efforts to improve quality and ensure the provision of public services in accordance with general principles of good governance and to provide protection for every citizen and population from abuse of authority in the administration of public services. This law of public service has a view that is in line with the perspective of the law public service, NPS, that public servants must have a desire to serve the public and prioritize the public interest. These principles have been implicitly spelled out in the Principles of Public Service Delivery, which stated that the implementation of public service is based on public interest, legal certainty, equal rights, balance of rights and obligation, professionalism, participatory, equality of treatment, non-discrimination, openness, accountability, special facilities and treatment for vulnerable groups, punctuality, and speed. In line with the direction of the President of the Republic of Indonesia, the National Midterm Development Plan, the Grand Design for Bureaucratic Reform, and the Roadmap for Public Services, various efforts have been made to create public services that are following the expectation of society in an era that is increasingly changing, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous in global dynamics frame that is getting tighter. Some of the programs that are being pushed to be implemented at this time include encouraging certainty in public service delivery during the COVID-19 pandemic, monitoring the implementation of public services through public service evaluations, encouraging community participation in the delivery of public services through the public consultation forum, electronic-based public service implementation, such as through the public service complaint management system and using SPAN lapor, integration of public service delivery through public service malls, development of public service innovation through organizing a public service innovation competition, innovation replication, and public service innovation network. The Indonesian government is currently entering a period of adaptation to a new habit. Wisdom is step to accelerate the handling COVID-19 in the health, social, and economic fields. There are two perspectives emphasized, namely, one is productive, where people can return to their activities and run their businesses so that the economy can grow again. And the second one is safe from COVID-19, which means that all people must always carry out strict health protocols and discipline in every activity undertaken. In conditions full of uncertainty like today, the government must still be able to provide quality public services with the principles of service certainty, clarity of service information, and service responsiveness. Public services must be felt by all levels of society, including the vulnerable, as proof of the presence of the state in maintaining public trust in the government. Ladies and gentlemen, to keep services to the community running, the Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform has issued circular letter as a guideline for all government institutions to carry out government administration and public services. Three main points that are mandated, namely work system adjustment, human resources support, and infrastructure support. In order to ensure the smooth operation of public services delivery during a pandemic, the circular letter also explains that each agency needs to, first one is simplify business processes and standard operating service procedures by utilizing ICT. The second one, using information media to deliver new service standards through publication media. The third one is open online communication media as a form for consultation and complaints. And the fourth one is ensuring the quality of output of service products, both online and also offline, to remain in accordance with established standards. And the last one is implement health protocol established by the Minister of Health. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to carry out the mandate of law concerning public services, the Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform, through the Deputy of Public Services, carry out an evaluation of public service. According to Ministerial Regulation number 17 of 2017, there are 6 aspects in measuring public performance, namely service policies, human resource professionalism, infrastructures, public service information system, consultation and complaint handling, and service innovation. The results of the evaluation of public services from year to year indicate an increase in the quality of public services. The National Public Service Index in 2017 was 3.28. Then it increased in 2018 by 3.38, and 2019 it was 3.63. From the data, we can see that the quality of public service has been improved every year, alhamdulillah. The law of public services also mandates that public service providers are obliged to involve the community in the implementation of public services. It is as an effort to build a system of public service delivery that is fair, transparent, and also accountable. In order to do so, Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform encourage the implementation of public consultation forum. One of the purpose of this forum is to gain understanding and solutions between service providers and the community. Ladies and gentlemen, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the implementation of public services must continue to be carried out by paying attention to health protocols, one of which is by implementing e-services. Electronic-based public service or e-services is an electronic system of public services that is organized and implemented by utilizing an internet-based electronic system. E-services is an effort to transform public services to provide services that are faster, easier, and cheaper according to community needs. The use of e-services will also encourage transparency in the delivery of public services so that it can provide space for the public to supervise public services. The principles of implementing e-services are easy, cheap, fast, safe, integrated, transparent, and developing sustainability. Related to public service complaint handling, ladies and gentlemen, e-services has been implemented in the National Public Service Complaint Handling System. We call it SP4N, or known as SPAN-Lapor. SPAN-Lapor is an integrated system in managing complaints within the framework of a public service information system. SPAN-Lapor was formed to encourage no wrong door policy, which guarantees that complaints from anywhere and of any kind are channeled to the authorized public service providers. Until now, SPAN-Lapor has connected with 520 local governments, 34 ministries, 102 institutions. On 27th of October this year, the SPAN-Lapor application has been established as a general application in the field of public service complaint. With the launch of Lapor as a general application, all complaint applications belonging to the central and regional government must be integrated with the application. Applications that have been created are not eliminated, but integrated with SPAN-Lapor to be more optimal. In the future, all central and local government agencies must use Lapor as the only portal for complaints and aspirations of the community. Between 1st of January 2020 and 31st October 2020, the number of reports submitted to SPAN-Lapor was 175,152, with average around 574 reports per day. If we see from the status of the report, 62% of the report have been followed up. The most reported topics were health issues, digital, financial, and education issues. Related to COVID-19 reports, there were 34,271 reports dated from 3rd of March to 31st of October 2020. The most reported topics related to COVID-19, namely social assistance, economy, and physical distancing. The implementation, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce about the implementation of public service model. Public service model is the real commitment to improve the quality of public services based on innovation and creativity. This is aimed at supporting the ease of doing business in Indonesia, cutting off cross-stakeholder licensing services that have been difficult, complicated, and sectorally biased, turning them into collaborative, scientific, and integrated services. Public Service Model, or PSM, is a synergy in the implementation of integrated public services in one place for all types of services from ministries, institutions, local government, state-owned, and also regional-owned enterprises, as well as the private sectors. Based on the result of a survey conducted by the Deputy of Public Services in 11 regions that have organized PSM in 2008 until 2019, there is an increase in investment by an average of 31%. Up until now, there are 29 PSM across Indonesia, which 6 of them are launched in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, in the era that is full of uncertainty, the only way to survive is to innovate. Thus, the Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform continues to encourage the implementation and development of innovations in the field of public services. One of the efforts made to build an environment that is conducive to innovation. In this regard, in 2014, our ministry has launched the One Agency, One Innovation movement, which requires every government agency to have at least one innovation each year. To capture various existing innovation, the Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform also organizes a public service innovation competition, or PIPP, which is held annually. Since its implementation in 2014 to date, 16,274 innovations from all over Indonesia have joined this competition. Development of public service innovation is also carried out through service innovation replication, or scaling up, in the form of replication forums, scaling up public service innovations, and collecting and sharing public service innovation through the National Public Service Innovation Hub, or we call it JICNAS. The hub is a multi-stakeholder forum that serves as a medium for mutual learning and information exchange about innovative practices and programs in the field of public services. The Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform also encourages innovators to participate not only in national but also in an international competition, such as the United Nations Public Service Award and also for OECD competition. In 2018, the Turk-Bintuni Regency Malaria Control Program succeeded in representing Indonesia in winning the 2018 UNPSA in the category of reaching the poorest and most vulnerable through inclusive services and partnerships. Furthermore, in 2019, Indonesia won first place for the disaster innovation from the National Disaster Management Authority, or BNPB, in the category of ensuring integrated approaches in the public sector's institutions. This achievement has succeeded in bringing the good name of the Indonesian government and shows that in the field of public service innovation, Indonesia is not inferior to other countries in the world. During this pandemic, the Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform took the initiative to give appreciation to innovators who made public service innovation for handling COVID-19. Innovations that appreciated are public service innovation that are able to provide both short and also long-term solution to problems that arise due to the impact of COVID-19. In this slide are some of the winners from the top 21 public service innovation for COVID-19 handling. First, innovation from the higher education cluster. That is from the University of Indonesia with the University of Indonesia swap chamber innovation. Then an example of a cluster of private companies is the innovation of 1,000 COVID-19 prevention promoters, Jago Preventive. This movement is a voluntary program involving 1,000 volunteers to educate the public about COVID-19 prevention through social media, as well as participate in COVID-19 prevention activities around the promoter. From the civil society cluster, there are two innovations that located in Yogyakarta province. Those are called Panggung Harjo Tanggap COVID-19 and Jogja Food Solidarity. From the same cluster, located in Sumatra province, from Palembang, from my city, there is an innovation called mobile counseling in Kampung Pandai or Smart Village in 13 Ulu, Palembang city. This activity based on a mindset that the task of educating people is a shared task. Volunteers in this activity provide outreach to the surrounding community to take COVID-19 prevention efforts, such as wearing masks, maintaining distance, and always washing hands. Along with the current condition, the demands for public services are also increasingly diverse, facing the QCA era. It is also necessary to fight with another VUCA or VUCA, which stands for vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. Vision means to have a direction or purpose that will realize in the future. Understanding means the understanding of changes and things that need to be prepared to deal with them. Clarity, the ability to see the future clearly. And agility, ability in facing change, facing consumer demands, and new developments that suddenly appear. Ladies and gentlemen, so this is the contribution of thought from us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God the Almighty, always protect us all toward a more peaceful and prosperous world. Roses are red, violets are blue. For all of your attention, I will say thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Professor Dr. Diana Reza MBA for delivering the material and public lecture. What a great presentation about the challenges of public service delivery in VUCA, the National Public Service Complaint Handling System PANLAPOR, Public Service Mall, Public Service Innovation, and International Public Service Award. Thank you so much. For the next speaker, we beg the willingness of our third speaker, Professor Chong Liao Lee, PhD. You have 30 minutes to deliver the material and public lecture. To Professor Chong Liao Lee, PhD, the time is yours. Okay, pardon me, Professor, your sound is not clear here. Okay. No, pardon me, we cannot hear your voice, Professor. Okay. Still not yet, Professor. We are so sorry.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Clearly.
that's good. Clear. Okay, right. Thank you. So a little technical problem. Okay. Okay. Did you see my screens? Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear your voice, Professor.
And also, can you see the screen?
No, the screen not appear. Okay.
Okay, here it. Okay, here we go. No, it's not good. Did you see the screen, right?
Yes, clearly, Professor.
Okay, all right, I'm going to. Okay, my name is Chung Lee. I'm a professor of Korea University at Sejong. And I've been here, your university about February. Then I was invited to make a presentation. So I'm very glad to have here. But I have a little accent of today. I mean, I prepared all my document. At the same time, I sent my presentation file, which is about the Word files, about 30 pages. It also described many things about Korean economy with graphs and figures, which you can understand very clearly. But unfortunately, about 3 p.m. of Korean time, I mean, and maybe about 1 p.m. of 5 p.m. of Indonesian time here. Sorry, 1 p.m. of Indonesian time is my computer is breakdown. So that all of my computer files is gone. So I have only 2 hours of preparing my new presentation. So I am doing with this, okay? So that's what I'm asking you to understand this thing here. So what I'm like to say today is that, I didn't have a graph. I didn't have a figures. Unfortunately, I supposed to give this. I'm very sorry for that, but I tried do my best, and I read a new PowerPoint file within an hour. Then I did it. My presentation will have an introduction, and second thing is what happened in Korea after outbreak of COVID-19, and what I'm going to say is what the government reacted to it, and lessons and challenges what the Korea do. As you can see here, first of all, COVID-19 outbreak happened in January 2020 in Korea. And it rapidly spread in February 2020. When I was in your university in February 2020, that was a time that Korea has a little problem with COVID-19. At the time, Indonesia was okay, but Korea has a problem here. When I come back from Palembang to Korea, I saw things recognized from the airport said that so many people are wearing masks and a kind of crisis was feeling here. And suddenly, the number of positively tested people as rapidly increases, and Korean economy has been in trouble. And it was an outside shock. It is not originated in Korea. It is a contagion from China. But the shock was as big as the global financial crisis of 2008 and 9. The foreign exchange rate depreciation more than 20% within a month, and stock price indexes decreases more than 40% in a month. So that financial markets is in deep trouble for this month. However, 3 or 4 months later, a Korean economy rebounded very quickly, and it showed relatively good performances. Therefore, we have some questions. What was the main impact of COVID-19 on Korean economy, and how Korean economy was able to have a progresses? And what was the lesson for it? What kind of policy was done? I mean, so far, the performance of Korean economy in terms of economic growth and inflation and financial market is one of the best in the world. So the question, we have something to learn from Korea, not only for the Indonesia, but also any other countries in the world. So that I have to check what happened in Korea and what the Korean government did. What is the main reason for that? Actually, this paper is not a rigorous econometric study on Korean economy because it only have described the economy of the Korea for the past 1 year. but it gives a very comprehensive explanation of Korean economy and COVID-19 pandemic crisis here. Okay, let me begin with what happened at the outbreak. At first, the COVID-19 crisis, we called it macroeconomic crisis from a viewpoint of Korea, because it make an impact on every places. But later, I would say that it changed to microeconomic shock. I will give the meaning of this microeconomic shock. Of course, when the crisis happened, the financial market fell into turmoil. The stock market price fell very rapidly. Exchange rate depreciated more than 10% sharply within 2 weeks. And 1 month later, stock price fell almost 40%, and rate of change is as high as that of 2008 and 2009 crisis, the global financial crisis. So the people and the government, economists like me, is worried very much. Do we have another crisis of 2008 and 9? Or do we have another crisis in 1997, 1998? That was the thing. So what kind of, we have to looking at the history, we have to looking at what have we done and what kind of things happened at that time. So the government took active macroeconomic policy. So monetary policy, exchange policy, and fiscal policy, all these policy tools in terms of macroeconomic policy was used. First of all, Central Bank, Bank of Korea reduced the interest rate and increased the credit to the companies. If the economy is shrank, then so many companies fell into trouble in terms of financial activity here. So that the Central Bank reduced the interest rates substantially and increased the amount of credit to the company. It's suggested by the textbook of the macroeconomics. At the same time, they use exchange policies. Central Bank intervened in the exchange market, try to stabilize the exchange rate. One more thing I like to emphasize is that we have experiences of 2008 and 9. We have experience of 1997 and 8. Means that once the exchange market, destabilized, then we need a kind of assistance from the outside. The outside means either maybe IMF or either maybe the Federal Reserve Board in the United States. So we make a currency swap agreement with the US, which means that whenever we need US dollar, then US government is willing to supply as much as we need here. So we quickly succeeded in making an agreement with the United States Federal Reserve Board. Then finally, exchange rate became stabilized. And fiscal policy is also very important because this is a shock that we have to expand our aggregate demand. So the Korean government decided to increase expenditure. At the same time, it's very important to give a subsidy to the people here. The given lump sum money was distributed to the people, to almost everybody. There has been some debate whether everybody is eligible or some low-income people are eligible. But later it was decided to give the money was given to everybody in the world, everybody in Korea. So all three policies was actively prepared and implemented during March and April for 2 months. It is quite surprising that all these things are done very quickly and effectively. I think that was one of the important reasons why we can do these things very quickly is that we have experiences of 2008 and 9 and 1997 and 98 crisis here. During these two crises previously here, we have understanding on what is a crisis and what have we do to take care of these crises. And actually, we did it here. So this policy was quite reasonable, and actually most countries did it, like US, UK, even Indonesia did the similar things here. But what you can say is that we did it very effectively because we have a history of this crisis formally before. So at the same time, we have very good CDC, the Office of the Controlling Diseases here. It's a government offices who handle the pandemic crisis and healthcare system and made a very excellent job afterward. As you can see in this graph is one day about this March is here, the newly daily tested positively patient, the person was reached about 800. That was a maximum, but 2 weeks later, it became less than 200. And 4 weeks later, it became less than 50s until after the April, it became stabilized less than 50s here. So they did an excellent job. So it reduced the number of positively tested people less than 50s after May to the June. Maybe we have a little problem with April, so September, and we have a little problem even today. But generally, they did an excellent job. We are succeeding to reduce the number of positively tested people by less than 50 here. Then, as a number of positively tested people decreased substantially, people began to have their normal life. But in different ways is that. Because people have to wear facial mask whenever they go out. At the same time, the large size meetings, whose number of out of more than 100 was canceled, and also they have a special permit from the government. So the way of doing businesses, the way of doing life has been changed substantially after March. But the good things of this is that the financial market became stabilized. No more panic both in exchange market and stock market. So that as the financial market subsidies, the government is take a look at the economy rather than financial market. I mean, they just finished the job of stabilizing the financial market. Now it's time to ready for the take care of the real economy. That was happened after the April, May, and June, and they have very good jobs on these things. Several interesting things are observed during after the May here. First of all, there's a regular survey which is conducted by one of the officers of Korean government is to ask what will be in the future in the businesses of Korea here. It is a survey from the businessmen, say what kind of whether they have optimism on the future or pessimism on the future, they ask. And 1 month later, the same person they ask, this month was good or this month was bad. So if you're looking at the two statistics, I mean, the 1 month before the forecast and this month's actual result, if you compare these two things, we can show that what kind of shock was happen. Is it unexpected shock is given or expected shock is given? At the first time, the statistics show that at early days of things, the shock came, that was the unexpected shock. But 2 months later, it turns out that every shock, I mean, caused by pandemic, is an expected shock here. We all know from the economic theory that the economic impact of the unexpected shock is totally different from the expected shock here. Once you have an unexpected shock, people have to shrink their economic activity and business activity is falling substantially. But once you have expected shock, people have already adapt themselves and prepare them, but its impact on the economy became minimal. So that from the data we collected from these surveys suggested that here, Korean businessmen had the impact of this pandemic shock during this April, March, and April only. After May, they were able to adjust themselves and prepare for it. That's a quite surprising result already. Businessmen was very quick, adapt themselves. That does not mean that the impact did not mean anything to them here. The impact is going on, but they are adjusting themselves from May, June, and July here. That's what I'm talking here. So, and second one is that this impact on the economy is different from sector to sector. Yes. For example, when this pandemic, crisis happened, amount of e-commerces, the business of the digital sector have more better, time than before here. They have a booming period here. But some sectors like individual service sectors or air travel sectors, hotel, got into trouble here. So that there has been some argument from the government side that what kind of policy we have to do. Do we need a macroeconomic policy which give assistance to the whole national sector, or do we have to select a few sectors to take care of it or to give assistance? Once we have these two, a big difference happen between this pandemic, impacted, negatively impacted sector and positively impacted sector, we have to have a different policies here. And one of the interesting things during this time, Korean invented a word which is English word, but which is not used in English areas, is that we call it untapped businesses. It means that the businesses by which can be done without direct contact on the people here. That's a kind of digital industry, you call it here. That as an untapped business became booming here. So the untapped business is getting more attention, say like mobile commerce or game industry or movie industry. Quite surprising thing is that here, the movie industry has made of two things, right? Theater industry, movie theater. People has to watch the movie, people has to go to the movie theater to watch the movie. That was a conventional way of watching movies. However, after pandemic crisis, more people are watching movies throughout their cell phone, their TVs, their internets like this. Even though the movie theater has no audience, they have to close down. The movie businesses have been booming here. So conventional idea is that, okay, good making movie, then theater have a large amount of audience that they make money here. That was integrated businesses. But now in the 21st century, after pandemic crisis, they became separated here. So the movie makers make money here. At the same time, movie theater lose the money. That which was not seen in the previous stages. So the thing is that it separated, impacted. We have a separated impacted of COVID-19 of the economy. In some sectors, it is also a favor. In some sectors, they have a very bad time here. Two things happen at the same time. But if you look at the GDP movement, the GDP growth rate is almost zero in the case of Korea. So which means that the negative impact is as big as a positive impact here. So that generally, maybe if you look at the US and other countries, all this GDP growth rate was a negative number, and also the negative number was very big. However, in terms of Korean cases, the prevention of COVID-19 expansion was blocked. As a result, the two impacted, like positive impacted and negative impacted, according to across the industry was a balance, so that total impact became almost zero here. So that's all that here. So this pandemic crisis and also accelerated the development of digital industry or fourth industrial revolution, which the Korean government has emphasized for several years. So it also not only it makes a negative impact, but also it also has a positive impact, so that government and people recognize this impact here. Let me give one more example cases. The Korean government decided to give a subsidy to the old people around $500. It depends on how many members are included in the household. But generally, the single person received the $500. If you're living on the three-person family, maybe total is about $1,000. 3 person for 1,000. So it's less than 500 here. So when they decided these policies, when they implement these policies, it takes not much time to do this here, because already most of the people under his real name, he has a bank account, he has a credit card, or he has a debit card, or he has a maybe direct card here. So credit, debit, and all these cards. Therefore, once the computer is a banking side and the computer with the government side are connected, that everything can be done quite easily here. So now the 21st century development of fintech has helped to overcome this financial crisis and COVID-19 crisis here. At the same time, because everything was digitalized, government can give this assistance to the only few sectors. For example, here, once you like this money, your card, either maybe credit card or debit card, it is only usable only for the restaurant, for example, or local store. If you like to use this money to other places, other town, it is not allowed here. So because of this digitalized economy and fintech system, it only takes about 2 or 3 weeks to prepare that. Once I get this money here, I can use this within 2 or 3 months, and I can spend it within a month. So to prepare the less than month, spend 1 month, so that this policy became very effective to give assistance on the certain sectors. So this policy was very successful because we already have a good digitalized society here. So with this, all these policies called pinset policies here. The pinset policies, we know the pinset here. Once you like to pick something here with your pinset, you can pick it here. So that once you know the problem of the economy in terms of microeconomic senses, so you can pick it up, you can fix it here. That's because we already have a detailed economy. Once you have like the good economic system, and also government to recognize the meaning of the crisis. I mean, impact of the crisis is not only for the macroeconomic factors, but it's also important in the microeconomic factors. And also, it is recognized that already big companies prepare for this pandemic crisis, but however, small and medium-sized companies were not prepared that here. Then government have give subsidy to this small and medium-sized company. And how can it do that? Because they are digitalized, government can give assistance these SME companies. So that this is another example case is why the digitalization of this Industry 4.0 or all this e-commerce economy is so important to overcome the pandemic crisis here. Okay, let me make a conclusion on this because, you know, as I told before, I didn't have my computer policy, so that I only prepared roughly here. Why the Korea's economic performance was relatively good during this pandemic crisis here? Maybe first thing we can say the successful treatment of COVID-19. I mean, Korean CDC was excellent job. So that in February, Korea has the second largest number of positive tested people, right next to China. China was #1, Korea was #2, but not today, not today here. Today, Korea ranked 91st about 200 countries in the world. Among the countries whose population is about 50 million, Korea is the least number of tested positive country in the world here, which means that Korea treatment of the COVID-19 was excellent job here. That's first thing here. Second thing is that once we succeeded with take care of the COVID-19, we quickly converted our program to the macroeconomic policy to the microeconomic policy. I mean, the focusing on the microeconomic policies here, so that we stabilize the financial market. Later, we focus on the maybe negatively impacted industry and sectors. And finally, we have succeeded. So that at the time, during the time, digital technology did an excellent job. And so digital technology was a big weapon for the Korean government to take care of these COVID-19 problems in terms of economic recovery here. So the government was able to implement the pinset policies rather than general macroeconomic policies in the later days. Later days means after May, June, and July here. So the government not only take care of the recession industry now, is promote the digital industry for the future. I mean, not only for the taking of the recession of today, but also Korean government is preparing for the another step to improve the digital technology and digital economy here. So they called it the new digital, maybe New Deal, a digital New Deal or something like that. That was announced by government here. Because in the future, more digitalized, more important, that's what's the thing here. One more thing I like to say to young people is that when the pandemic crisis happened here, the digital technology became more useful and young people have an advantage than old people like me here. So crisis always bring the opportunity for and a chance to bound up here. And as for me, I think that young people all over the world, not only in the Korea, but also in Indonesia, will have more opportunities in the future despite of this crisis here. I mean, young people have more familiar with digital technology, and digital technology is the future. Therefore, they will have more brighter future. Even though we have to wear a facial mask every day, even though we have a little problem to take care of, to meet my friend and relatives, you know, but in the future, if you overcome, young people have a more opportunity on this issue. I think I like stop this thing. These are the all I prepare for it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Chong Leo Lee, PhD,
Mhm.
for the material and public lecture given. What a great topic and presentation that you've given about the macroeconomic policy in Korea. What a great topic. Thank you so much. Before we moving forward to the next speaker, I will open the discussion forum. For the participant who wants to ask a question, can write in the chat room or raise hand in the Zoom platform. Okay, we have right now we have two questions. The first for Professor Diah Natalisa from Vanessa. Dear Professor Diah Natalisa, I would like to ask some question. In this VUCA era, vulnerable people is one of the most affected people. What have been done by Indonesia government to encourage the inclusive and non-discriminative public service delivery, especially on vulnerable people? Maybe for the Professor Diah Natalisa, you can answer the question from Vanessa. Prof, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. So this is the question from Vanessa. In this VUCA era, vulnerable people is one of the most affected people. What have been done by Indonesia to encourage the inclusive and non-discriminative public service delivery, especially on vulnerable people? Thank you so much. To support the policy of providing special facilities and infrastructures for these vulnerable people, our ministry has conducted an evaluation of public service providers with the following results. 45% of public service providers already have a limited number of facilities with special needs, and the quality is so-so or standard. And 25% of public service providers already have facilities with special needs as needed. And around 95% of public service providers already have a limited number of facilities with special needs, and the quality is not yet standard, while the remaining 11% of public service providers do not yet have facilities with special needs. Based on these conditions, we committed to encouraging the acceleration of the provision of friendly infrastructure for vulnerable people. The Ministry of Pan-RB actually has also published circular letter number 66 of 2020 as a form of commitment to provide the best services for vulnerable people. Currently, there are more than 20 million people in Indonesia are persons with disabilities. Nearly half of them are persons with multiple disabilities. However, there are still many lack of facilities and infrastructure for vulnerable people, so that it is difficult for them to get good public services. These facilities and infrastructures includes courtyards and guiding blocks, special parking areas, ramps and handrails, special lift, easily accessible doors, priority waiting chairs, special counters, a special toilet, and also children's play areas, lactation rooms, and sometimes also we need braille letters and hearing aid. So I think our commitment for them really high, because we have to give service delivery for inclusive and non-discriminative. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Professor Dr. Diah Natalisa MBA for the answer given. Okay, there is a question to Prof. Chong Leo Lee, PhD. How can Korea suppress the spread of COVID-19 so quickly and recover the economy quickly? Will the tourism sector open soon, Professor?
Okay, it's a good question. So that I'm not a specialist in healthcare, so I cannot give the correct answers. But my impression is that we utilize ICT technology here. That means whenever a patient, some suspected person was known, directly, he get tested. Once he get tested, that surrounding his people, where he has been, the places he visited, also reported, and immediately, and it was known and give a text message to the people who have been there past 1 day or 6 months, 6 hours is like this. Automatically, once if I visited some places, I can get a message say that every day I get a text message even today. That means that nearby my some restaurant near my hometown, nearby my places, my university has it said that there is a kind of test party people has visited this restaurant and certain day. Then I'm afraid that I didn't go there. At the same time, restaurant has to close 1 day and clean it and washed it, and next day it opened here. So the ICT technology was quite useful to use that. The only problem is that once you use this technology, the privacy of the people has been revealed. So the Korean government has a lot of debated, among the people and government said, how can you protect the privacy problem? How can you take care of this COVID-19? And also there's no correct answers, but when we have a certain degree of the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 5, with certain degrees, we have number of tested party people increase above a certain level, then we can reduce the privacies of the people here. But normal time is okay. So that a kind of agreement was made among the people and government, and also utilized ICT technology. I think that was the first key here. Find the test possible people and isolated them. Also to try to find the nearby people, nearby friends and relatives, and notify them as much as possible. Then clearly we can reduce the number of patients, and we can stabilize the COVID-19 expansion here. That was one thing here. Second thing is the Korean government very quick to understand the situation. I think that was one of the reasons is that, 2 reasons is that we have a crisis before. We exactly know what happened when the crisis happened in 2008 and 9 and 1997 and 1998. Based on this crisis experiences that we can have economic policies that was the immediate policy, was the monetary policy, fiscal policy, and exchange rate policy, which was conducted during the immediate days, and that was quite successful here. I think that I like to give 2 credit on this issue. One credit is for the immediate policy. Second credit is to take care of this COVID-19 here with this ICT technology here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for the answer. Okay, one question for Professor Diana Talisa from Bartanius Doni. Does Ministry of Pan-RB do monitoring and evaluation of public service delivery during COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the, what was the name, Doni or something? Yes, we did the monitoring and evaluation of public service delivery during the COVID-19 pandemic. Based on the result of our monitoring, government institutions as providers of public services have carried out various strategies to continue providing services in the midst of a pandemic by implementing alternative services. These efforts include online services. They use WhatsApp. They use SMS and also use some of the applications using the ICT, and also proactive services, as well as a combination of online and offline services. If the service is not possible to do online, then service delivery is carried out by applying health protocols to maintain the safety of service providers and also service users. Based on this, it is necessary to implement e-services to provide public service delivery. And we also have some collaborations, yeah, with our mitra. One of them with Korean government. Right now we have a collaboration with KOICA, UNDP, especially for lapor, so which is layanan aspirasi dan pelaporan online, pengaduan online rakyat, like a comprehensive system. And in Korea, I think Mr. Professor Chong, I think you have e-people there. So next year, I think we will visit Korea. Yeah. Actually, it is the plan is this year, but because of the pandemic, so we get it and we'll do it next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Yana Tulisa, MBA. For the participant who wants to deliver the question directly to our speaker, can raise hand in the chat room, the Zoom platform. You can deliver the question directly to our speaker or write the question in the Q&A of the chat room. Okay, for the other two speakers, we apologize. They had joined earlier, but due to the network instability, the remote location, one in United Kingdom and one in Croatia, making it difficult for them to join. But we still wait for our next two speaker. So while we waiting for the two speakers, we'll discuss. Is there any question for our speaker from the participant? You can raise hand. You can write the question in the feature in the Zoom platform or chat room. Is there any question from the participant while we're waiting for our next two speakers? Okay, maybe still waiting. I want to ask maybe for the Professor Chong Liaoli, PhD, how do you predict the end of COVID-19? Maybe you have your own opinion like that, Professor?
No, I have no idea. I'm not a specialist in the healthcare, but I think that it will take 1 year or more, then it will disappear. I mean, there is a good scientist. They always say that there is a vaccine, you know, and for the human history, we always overcome the diseases, and this is one of the episodes we do. But unfortunately, it happened when I living here. So that it will take maybe 1 year or 2 years more. I think it will overcome. I will visit your country as soon as possible. I can get the permission from my government. Okay. So I think that let's see the positive part here. Okay? There are lots of opportunity for young people, this crisis. And also it is inevitable that digitalization will be happening in the future. So that young people have an opportunity. And once we have overcome these things and we have a better world and better bright times. That's what I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a question maybe from Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Ali. You can ask directly to our speaker. Please activate your sound and your camera, Doctor. The time is yours for Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Ali.
Here I am, I am Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Ali from Al-Burimi University College, Oman. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we
Hello.
can hear.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, hearing. So nowadays, overall world, everybody is afraid regarding the COVID-19, and the total business and total everything will freeze. Mostly countries are suffering this COVID-19. So if you want to travel one place to another place, you have to take PCR tests, and there are different type of precautionary measures everybody is taking. So here my question is, we are taking the online classes also, conducting the online classes, conducting the midterm exam like that. So how to improve the immunity to prevent this COVID-19?
Okay, thank you. From Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Ali from Oman, right?
Yeah.
Maybe from Prof. Chong Lili or Prof. Dr. Diana Talisa want to
Yeah,
answer?
I am a professor. I am an associate professor in Al-Burimi University College.
Yes. Pardon me, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Ali from Oman. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Maybe from Professor Dr. Diana Talisa. Maybe your willingness to answer the question from Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Ali from Oman.
Yes, my question was, already I explained you how to improve immunity to prevent this COVID-19. What are the measures we have to take?
Immunity.
Immunity means what are the measures we have to do? What type of food items we have to take? So like that. So in a body immunity, we have to improve our body immunity to prevent this COVID-19. And a medical point of so we saw in the
Okay,
different type of
maybe
suggestions are
from
coming in
medical
the
side.
newspaper. Actually, medical point of view, what we have to do, that is the main question to everybody.
Okay, maybe from the speaker wants to answer the question from our participant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I think I just talk about the few FUCA from the public service perspective. But until now, I think the Minister of Health remind us to be safe from COVID-19. We have to implement the health protocols and discipline in every activity undertaken. So like physical distancing, washing hands, and also for wearing masks. But for the immunity, I think, I'm so sorry, I cannot answer with this perspective. Thank you.
Madam, one thing. So those who are crossing the 60 years, so in our university and college also, most of some professors crossing 60 years. Then they want to improve the immunity. So less than 50 years, those who are middle age and young age professors, lecturers, they don't have any problem. Why? Because they have more immunity, more strength. You know that. Those who are crossing the above 60, what are the measures they have to take? This is my question. Those who are crossing 60 years.
Okay, maybe it's maybe additional answer from Prof. Chong Lioli.
Okay, I'm 61 years old.
Yes.
I have a little problem. I don't have much problem with my health. You know, I practice and exercise every day. Maybe don't try to my car. Instead, I try to take a bus and metros and everything here. That's what I'm doing. And eating very much. You know, I eat every food and get up early in the morning and exercise. What else can I do? I mean, there's no other way to get rid of the viruses. The only way to protect me is the wearing a mask whenever I go out. That is the only weapon we do have. So far, there is no medicines. So the only way to protect me so far is that I have a good health and I have to wear the mask whenever I go outside. I mean, that's the only way. Is there any other way? Please tell me, I will do it.
Yeah. We are doing same thing. We are wearing the mask also when you are going the outside or university. We are wearing the mask, everything. But medical point of view and a health point of view, for example, we want to increase the taking the good and nutrition food like this. Any type of good nutrition feed, exercise also, walking and sports activities also everybody is doing. But a medical point of view, how to we have to improve? Any suggestion, medical point of view?
Okay, thank you for your question. Maybe we can answer your question maybe in the next agenda, maybe, because in this agenda we limited about the FUCA 2.0, how to serve the study world in the perspective of economic, accounting, and business conference. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for our participant. Maybe we thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. We will moving forward to Sir Saleh Khatib. Saleh Khatib, you can activate your camera and your sound. You can ask the question directly to our speakers.
Yeah, good evening. Do you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Actually, I have two questions, not one. First one is for Professor Chong. He might be able to answer this question. That he talked about the unpredicted events, and since the main debate was about the COVID-19 as unpredicted event happened and affected all countries around the world. So to which extent do you think, Professor, that such an unpredicted crisis, let's say, can be avoided in the future, especially that you talked about Korea, and Korea have done a really good job because Korea, one of the countries that have been severely affected by the crisis in 1997 and the international crisis. So as we know, it's important to learn from our history to predict the future or for better future. So to which extent do you think that not only Korea, but other countries can work better in such unpredicted event if it is happened in the future? This is the first question. And the second question, the expenditure on research and development in economic field, not only on the health sector, will be help or posted from the government side in the future, as such an event have affected not only the health sector, but also the economic sector in general. Thank you.
Okay, the question was on me, so that I will ask the first question here is that, let me give my expression first here. In the Korean case, it's quite unique in terms that we have experienced almost every development stage for the past 70 years. If you're looking at the history of Korea in terms of economic development, after Korean War of 1953, Korea was one of the lowest income countries in the world. Right now, Korea showed some kind of member of the advanced country. So which means that we have experienced a lot of things from past 70 years. And also that means we also accumulated a lot of different knowledges which other countries can accumulated here. So we are always have, it's like an archive in our library here. We have many experiments, and we have many case studies on the, in terms of social science, not in the medical sciences here. So whenever we have some problem, we looking at the cases, what kind of thing we do have. Looking at the 1997 and 1998 Asian financial crisis, I was in the Korean Institute of Finance, who make a guidance of the policy of the economic, financial restructuring and economic development here. When the Korean financial crisis happened, Indonesia too here, to 1997 and 1998, we have studied a lot and looking at the case of other country, that we are able to overcome it within 2 years. Is that although we received a large amount of money from the IMF and many guidance from IMF and United States, we do it and we study it and we finally get a solution by ourselves and overcome and do it. When did we have a 2008 crisis, 2009 crisis, we also have very special cases we did, and we also have accumulated our knowledge and experiences, then 2 years later we overcome it. This is exact similar things here. We are able to compare with the case of today with the case of 1997 and 8 and 2008 and 9. So we make many researchers coming together, try to get a solution by ourselves. The difference between 1997 and 1998 is that similar cases happen in Asia, and also similar cases happen in Latin America in the 80s. 2008 and 9 crisis cases, the origin was in the United States, not in Asia. Therefore, we have a different treatment, different cases, different remedy for all these diseases here. In these cases, it was a disease which is quite different from all the cases which have experiences. But we think that we have to learn, we have to keep observe, and we try to find a solution, and we begin to able to. There is no royal road. What I'm thinking is that as soon as we have information, we have get the knowledge, then we try to practice it. And at this time, it was right so that Korea can overcome it. That's very simple. No, that's very quite normal way, but there's no other way to explain this for me. Okay, I'm sorry for that here. There's no other way to explain this. In terms of R&D cases here, in terms of economics, you're talking to the teaching or research of the economics here. Maybe I cannot say anything on this, but except my own cases, I did my research with my students, and I go to, in particular, I am studying on the economics of South Asian country, in particular the banking and finances. I visited many universities, including Indonesia and Malaysia, and Vietnam and Thailand, try to see what is actually going on and apply my theories and studies and with my students together here. So that I have my teams and cooperate together, try to find a paper, and that is a way to improve my economic knowledge at the same time, my students' economic knowledge. That's the way to research and development in terms of economic studies. I think that's my expression, but I cannot say the other Korean, my friends' cases. I'm sorry for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Actually, you just mentioned Korea and how they did well in terms of the COVID-19 event, but as we know that the Asian crisis started from Thailand and affected several countries here severely, and after that, plenty of research have been done on these countries. So why these countries, even though have gone through plenty of researches, didn't do well compared to Korea? And also, if we talked about developing and developed countries, Korea is considered, if I'm not mistaken, as a developing countries. At the meantime, there are several developed countries, very developed, like USA, Germany, and others, etc., that have been done. Korea have been done better than them. So these countries that have gone through too many research and the scholars focused on them, why did they didn't do well, and to which extent do you think that in the future such countries can learn from this event and expect if such a crisis or such event happen in the future? Thank you.
My idea is that here it may depend on the cultural background here. In the case of Korean cases, we are cultural background is German has German cultural background, and French has a French one, Spanish has Spanish one. US has also the US has the customs and traditions is. Based on the Korean traditions is that we are used to cooperate with our maybe society and with our government and with our maybe countries, with our races together. One more thing I like to say, Korea is a unified country, which means that we have 50 million people, we have the same languages and same history and same country more than 2,000 years. There are few times, very few years that foreigners can occupy the Korea and foreigners can rule it. For an example, because Japan did it 1910 to 1945. That was the only cases here. And during the Mongolia cases, when the Mongolians invaded here, and also Korean king survived and also did it here. There are if you look at the maybe during the Chinese cases, Tang Dynasty cases, they invaded in Korea, but they stay here a couple of years and they could pull back here. What I'm trying to say is that we are a very unified country at one races, one speaking languages, a very unified country. Therefore, we are working together very quickly here. At this time here, Korean government or CDC, based on the scientific effective, they announced a kind of policy and guideline. As long as we are in the stick together, we observe that rule here. But I cannot see those kind of thing in other countries. For example, in Indonesia, 250 million people living different races, sometimes different languages. It's very difficult to harmonize one rules, one laws, and like this here. The German cases, I guess, is that they are too liberal, for example, here. And the French case is too here. But I think that was a difference in the cultural and historical theme. I cannot say that one country is better, one country is worse. I'm saying that in the case of fighting against COVID-19, maybe luckily, Korean cultural background maybe help to fight it. That's what I'm thinking here. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Saleh Khatib from Malaysia, University Technology Malaysia. Thank you. Maybe one more question for Professor Dr. Dianata Luisa, MBA. Professor Dia. In this extremely changed situation, I think there are rising about unsatisfaction issue at public service performance in our society. My question is, are any adjustment for the measurement of public service performance? Thank you. From Muhammad Eko Fitrianto.
Thank you. Thank you, Eko. I think for we didn't change for the measurement of, we call it public service index. We just maybe for the methodology, we change it. We still bid for the measuring the service for the public service index. So we use the 6 indicators. We still use the 6 indicators, the same indicators for measuring the public service index according to ministerial regulation number 17 of 2017. Yeah, we just use the same variables, that's service policies, human resource professionalism, infrastructures, public service information system, consultation and complaints handling, and also service innovation. But we just changed for the methodology. So from before the pandemic, we visit for the locus of our survey. But during the pandemic, some of them we just visit for the places that did not affect from the pandemic, but for the places that we call it just our what is the red? Yeah, for the red zone. So we just did for the we just did for the online, online survey, and also we just did for the desk evaluation.
Okay, thank you, Professor Dr. Diana Kalisa, MBA, for the answer. We're still waiting for the next two speaker, but we try to reconnect with them, but maybe it's difficult for them to join with us. For the other two speakers, we apologize. They had joined earlier, but due to the network instability, due to remote location, one in United Kingdom and one in Croatia, they try to connect with us, but making it difficult for them to rejoin. We are so sorry. Maybe that's all for our discussion from our speaker. Thank you for a great discussion. I would like to say thank you for your attention and sorry for some mistake. Thank you for all the speakers, the committee, and participants. Thank you for the BRI Bank and Bank Sumsel Bubble Bank as the sponsor of this conference. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome back the Master of Ceremony, Miss Bunga Yuza Zulkarnain. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for making time to join us today. It has been our pleasure to host this event. And also, we would like to say thank you for the support from Bank Rakyat Indonesia and Bank Sumsel Bubble. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all have a pleasant day. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nah, soal